Yeah, this is like a record breaker for me. So insane. But let me show you guys how this all works. I think you'll find this funny. And it's a little bit of last time I updated this model, the stock was 10. Like I said, I was short $3 million around like 10, 950, 10 area. I think my average is like 950. And I basically kind of covered at 650 and forgot about it. Not forgot about it, eagerly excited and waiting and watching. But oh yeah, I'm very exposed now. Um, so let me show you a little bit of finance because I think you'll find this interesting and fun. Um, Let me do it this way. Okay, so here's the Q1 income statement, whatever the fuck this is. Wow, this guy wasn't kidding. The contrast is kind of insane. You literally can't even read this. But they booked the 15 million. What's kind of weird is it's 15 million in one, which is like, did they have $1,000 of other revenue? And they've sold like one system every like 5 years. So they don't really expect another one anytime soon. They still lost money despite having achieved this huge milestone. But that's not what I want to show you. Oh, take a look at the shares outstanding. Oh my god, they've gone from just a year ago it was 160, now it's 290. What the hell? It's fucking funny. Also humorous there. But I really want to show you one thing. But I want to just make sure I have all my data first. Cash flow. Please be. They weren't even cash. Hold on. They weren't even cash flow positive? Come on. Okay, let me get this. And I'll be done in just 2 seconds, guys. Sorry. Okay. I can't believe they scammed these Germans for a computer. These guys must have had money to burn. Maybe some kickback or something, Okay. So I want you to see. Okay. Here's the key. So bookings. What's the difference between bookings, revenue, and billings? This is very complicated. It's not that easy. It's something that's, let me just get all these numbers down. Okay, so that was 18.3. And this is something every investor should know. Okay, a lot of pop quizzes here. All right. When do you recognize revenue under the accounting rules? Owen, Owen is I think that's close, Owen. I would, you have only so many character space, right? Um, so no. See, some of you have never taken an accounting class. Okay. Revenue is when there's transfer of title or transfer of control. You don't have to. Okay, so on services, generally you have to provide the service. On goods, you don't actually have to provide the goods. You don't have to even be paid yet. It's very important. That's accounts receivable. Totally different. Transfer of title is when you recognize revenue. Bookings are a little different. Bookings are signed orders, but they're not revenue because there's no transfer of title. So the customer has put in an order, made a commitment, but you don't yet have a transfer of title. Transfer of title is when the customer can legally, in a court of law under UCC, I took the business law class once. It's a lot of it's about contract law and UCC. So if you want to learn more about this, it won't cost you more than 5 hours, 10 hours, and learning uniform commercial code and contract law is very useful. And you can even ask GPT to help you and give you quizzes about it. Like John agrees to buy XYZ from Steve. John reneges on the deal. What is Steve's recourse? Right? Those kinds of questions. And there's a lot of weird little situations. So in general, bookings are pre-revenue. They're commitments that are the company's hoping will become revenue, but they're not quite there. Depending on the company, they can be canceled, but that you don't generally get that kind of transfer of title is, I wouldn't say is when physical good is necessarily delivered. I think it's when it is in the process of being delivered. So like, for example, if a pallet of pharmaceuticals is on the loading dock or is on a truck or is being picked up or is even scheduled to be picked up, I would say title has transferred. I would say title is transferred typically upon signing the purchase order. You do not have to deliver the product yet. So again, none of this is to say that they've done anything wrong. Here's the important part. So they had 18.3 in bookings, and you could see, like, can you draw an arrow from one to the next, right? 18.3 became 15.0, right? Does that make sense? And then I just want to go fill out some of these because we don't have some of these filled out, but let's see what was in this quarter. It's amazing they even give this out. I'd be too embarrassed. And they used to tout it as like a sign of their progress, but you'll get the punchline in a second. When you see my point. Okay, so you can see that bookings kind of predicts revenue, right? And you could even do a correlation coefficient. So what you can do here is equal correl this array with this array. That should work. And look at the correlation coefficient. It almost can't be higher, right? So this is correlation coefficient. This is R squared. It's extremely good. What happens if I shift this just one? Correlation disappears, right? There's no fraud here. There's no fraud at all. No. There's no fraud. Just want to be clear. I'm not accusing the company of doing anything wrong at all. But here's the press release today. Okay, this is why anybody who knows basic accounting, I don't even care about the stock price, dude. Like, there's no, when you get to be a big investor, you stop caring about the price action. All you care about is the fundamentals, because you can't control the price action. But if you know that like this company is just complete shit, you just laugh at the price action. You're like, I don't care. So here's bookings that they announced today. This is the lowest ever bookings they've ever had, basically. It's almost zero. So you can even define a function that would predict. That's the whole point of R squared. Yeah, it's a good question. Let me do that. Yeah, the R square is a little less accurate without that. You're right. But it's in the reason, I mean, I don't think that makes any points, because the point is that this is literally your customer pipeline, right? 2.5 customer pipeline. Okay, we booked 2.6. 2.9. Okay, we booked 3. Customer pipeline's 3. We only booked 2.5. They canceled. Customer pipe. Bookings don't have to be recognized next quarter, by the way. They can build up to, they could be, bookings for 2 quarters from now. So it's not, it's not deferred. But if bookings are cancelable, they just don't ever get, they don't ever get recognized. So 18.3, they recognized 15, and now bookings are 1.6. It's the lowest they've ever had. So they got lucky with this one deal, but now, I mean, if they do 2 million next quarter, the street is at 3. Go to Godel, you do QBTS equity EM. The street, all the cheerleaders, unfortunately, and again, I don't begrudge those guys for doing their jobs, but they have to try to show that it's a growth company. Theoretically, we can't show up in AR without being recognized as revenue yet. It could show up in deferred revenue. But deferred revenue is usually when you've provided the service and you haven't recognized it as revenue yet. Anyway, the street's at 3.7. And this is the same problem INQ has. 3.7, 3.7, 4.5, 5.6, 7.1. It's all going up, right? And that's because it's supposed to be a growth company. But the problem is it's not a growth company. You see that the revenue was 7, 9, 9. This year will be a good year for them. This is fact set, yes. Because of that one placement they got. But it looks like they're going to have a record bad year if you look at the rest of the quarters. If the pipeline is so good, why is the bookings record low? They've never had, they haven't had a bookings this bad in years. And they haven't been around too long either. So it's kind of stunning to me that like the one fundamental data point that was released in this news release was bad news. The only thing that they said that we didn't already know, the only update, we knew that they sold the computer for 15 million and they gave guidance. Do you know what happens to most stocks when they don't give guidance, when they have given guidance before? When you say, I can't give guidance anymore, it's that bad? The funny thing about business, though, is the rubber has to hit the road. You know, you can do this, you can hand wave, but what happens in 90 days? I'm still going to be here. Are you? I can wait 90 days. IonQ took a different route. They said, all right, huddle up, team. We know revenue is going to be zero. Here's what we'll do. Let's use our stock price to buy a bunch of companies that have revenue. And the guy's like, oh. And one guy in the back goes, well, won't that lead to dilution? And the guy goes, what the fuck did you just say? Lead to dilution. When we have to make our revenue guidance. Revenue guidance. We put out guidance of 80 million, 85 million revenue. I have no fucking idea how we're going to get 85 million in revenue, bro. We need to make that first. Fuck the share count. I will buy a Quickie Mart if I have to with these shares to get that revenue. I will buy your mom's laundromat. Mrs. Singh down the corner, she's got 2 million in revenue, 2 million in COGS, no gross margin. Ms. Singh works very hard. I will buy her laundromat and I will meet my guidance. I'll buy a space constellation of satellites for no reason. I will buy whatever the fuck it takes so that I make my guidance number. Because I can't sell the computers in the back, but I can make that guidance number. And that's, you know, the games that you play in Wall Street, but they're not economically useful, right? They're not beneficial to your business. You know, you will, you know, not actually. Okay, so here in 2022, they had bookings of 733,000. This is a $3 billion company, mind you. So in Q1 22, bookings are 733,000, right? My startup financial software company, which some of you thank you, you know, you patronize me, and I work hard for you. We have more bookings than this. We are not a $3 billion company. So in any event, it's a lot of fun to watch the insanity because it's like, it's kind of like this one of these things where you just want to believe. So like whatever the company says, you just want to believe it. So it doesn't matter really what reality is. These guys had a deal with Davidson before. They just make the same, they put out the same news over and over again. Oh my God. This guy's in Miami Beach. Meanwhile, the company's based in Palo Alto and British Columbia, Canada, but he lives in Miami Beach. Houseway. Houseway. Okay, they stopped giving bookings at that point. So Q4 22. So maybe in Q4 23 I can look back. So the first quarter they gave bookings was this quarter. 3 years and bookings are down. I would quit. I would be fired. 2023 bookings are low. All right, 2024 will be better. 2024 picks up. Don't worry, 2025 will be better. And then I go to my board. Well, 2025 is unfortunately down from 2024. And they say, oh, it's a shame. How much is it down? I said, well, it's also below 2023. They're like, what? Sir. I don't know. Look, I understand business is tough. Like, you got to put a positive spin on bad news. But like, I mean, and look, it's in the press release. They're not hiding it. What the fuck? They even gave bookings guidance and missed it years ago. This is such a joke. I don't know. If you saw a chart that looked like this, let me show you the chart. Do you think this is a business doing well? Is this a business doing well? What do you think guys think? This is 13 quarters. So this is 3 years. And then if you just, normalize this, assume the system sale never happened. Is this a business doing well? Is this the future? Is this is this the massive growth industry? Well, listen, take away their one customer. This is what's underneath. It's garbage. This is the future of computing? Is this what's growing? They get a customer every 3 or 4 years, gullible enough to buy it? I thought this company was growing. Like I said, next quarter they can't hide. But they have 90 days to figure out what the fuck to do, so. And I'm sure they'll try something. They might try what IonQ's trying. Let me buy some other stuff. They won't notice. It's not quantum. You should buy our stock because quantum is the future. Well, if quantum is the future, your revenue is going to grow, right? Well, you should buy our stock because quantum's the future and we're going to make some acquisitions. You're going to make quantum acquisitions, right? Well, Rigetti's the only honest company. You know, patents expire, right? Patents are only useful if they can convert into revenue. And most technology patents are obvious and not enforceable. I don't believe in the word catalyst. You know, I know that's heresy, but even the word catalyst doesn't make sense to me. Markets don't, you know, markets are machines that incorporate information very quickly and efficiently. Nevertheless, yes, sometimes the market participants have to see reality, right? And reality comes in the form of quarterly earnings. Reality comes in the form of time sinking in, missing milestones, things like that. So